When you hear you need a biometrics appointment to get a job or clear a visa, the mind usually goes straight to science fiction. You picture iris scans, facial mapping, and clinical, high-tech interrogation rooms. The reality is usually about 15 quiet minutes at a desk, pressing your hands onto a simple glass scanner or a pad of black ink. It seems almost primitive compared to modern tech. But relying solely on your name and date of birth to clear a background check is notoriously unreliable. People share identical names, they use aliases, or change marital names, which causes databases to misfire and miss critical records. This photograph shows why the fingerprint remains the gold standard. Unlike facial recognition, the U.S. has indexed criminal records by physical fingerprints for a century. Because this collection is so vast, matching rich patterns is the only reliable way to trace records spanning decades. Even in an era of digital tracking, proving your legal identity still depends entirely on a 100-year-old physical science. That entire system rests on capturing a clean image of the microscopic ridges on your fingertips. Human skin is flexible, which makes capturing those ridges tricky when pressing down on a scanner. Everyday wear and tear flattens those ridges out. Heavy manual labor, aging, dry weather, or even using a lot of hand sanitizer can temporarily erase the detail a scanner needs to read. If the captured print is too smudged to read, the system rejects it as unclassifiable. That single error bounces your application back, forcing a resubmission and adding 3 weeks of delay to your clearance. Passing a background check starts at the biological level. Applying standard moisturizer for 2 days before your appointment plumps the skin and restores the exact definition a scanner needs to read your print. Once your hands are ready, the actual capture process at the counter relies on one of two methods. This is an FD-258 card. It's the standard paper form used to capture 16 physical ink impressions. Many out-of-state licensing boards and federal employers still require these exact paper cards to be mailed into their offices. The alternative is LifeScan. This is an inkless digital capture system that reads your fingers on a glass plate and transmits the data instantly over a secure network. Getting the format right is only half the battle. Fingerprint data networks are strictly separated into different bureaucratic pathways. Matching your specific request to the correct destination is crucial. If you are applying for a green card or naturalization, your lane is USCIS. They collect their own biometrics at their specific application support centers, and absolutely nobody else is allowed to take those prints for them. If you need an FBI personal background check for a foreign visa, that lane is open. You can use private channelers, independent businesses authorized to capture and submit your prints electronically for a rapid return. The rest falls into state-run systems, like Massachusetts requiring teachers to use their specific vendor, or the wide-open middle ground of out-of-state boards that just want an ink card mailed to them. If you misread your instruction letter and submit perfectly rolled prints into the wrong jurisdictional lane, the receiving agency will never see them, and your check stops entirely. So your prints are captured cleanly and routed correctly. What actually happens when they finally hit the agency's database? Unlike modern AI facial recognition algorithms, which often spit out results through an unexplainable digital black box, fingerprint matching leaves a clear trail of evidence. Looking at a comparison board like this one reveals the real strength of the system. Explainability. If a background check result is ever disputed, a trained human examiner can look at the physical ridges on 2 impressions, identify distinct points of comparison, and definitively prove why they match or do not. For the vast majority of applicants, the process ends there. Fingerprints submitted for a standard one-time employment or licensing check are used solely to run that specific search and are not retained in a monitoring database. There is a notable exception called the wrap-back program. For certain high-trust professions, agencies place applicants into a continuous alert system. If a new criminal event occurs months or years later, the system automatically notifies the employer. This ongoing retention is a specific, legally disclosed requirement chosen by the hiring agency. It is not a quiet, automatic default built into the technology itself. Knowing the sheer scale of the system those prints are entering explains exactly why the technician at the counter will take the time to inspect your impressions and re-roll anything that looks marginal. That extra minute of careful physical capture serves a precise purpose. It translates your biological identity into the specific digital language the legal system trusts.